Hey guys, what's up? So this video is going to be pretty raw. I'm actually filming on my laptop instead of the GoPro. I just didn't want to get it out. I want to edit the least I can on this video. I just want to make it basically about like everything I'm thinking right now. And now that the holidays are pretty much over with, I feel like I can kind of get a little deep, and I will be talking about living with depression and PTSD. So I guess we should just take it from the top. Basically, I've had depression ever since I was a teenager. It kind of came out around my sophomore year of high school. I hated high school. I did not like high school. I did not enjoy high school. I don't know how many ways to put it. I hated the clickiness of it. I never was in a clique. I thought they were stupid. Yep, that was me. I'm that kind of girl. I just did not do the cliques. But I went through a lot of traumatic things in high school during those years. You know, you're also going through your teenage years. You're transitioning into basically what kind of adult you're going to end up being. And I was a very lost teenager. I was a very lost person. I really didn't find myself till years after high school. But I noticed these feelings come out more towards like sophomore year of high school, and I was just beginning to be this sad, like depressing person. I would have all these bad thoughts. I just felt like I did not matter in the world, that I didn't matter to my family, that I didn't matter to anybody. Basically because like I said, I went through a lot of trauma. I saw things and things happened to me that I'm not going to talk about right now, but like it really changed me, and it really messed with my life. And I had a lot of family problems. I was not close to my mom during my teenage years, and I think that's a thing that happens to a lot of women, mothers and daughters. You know, there's this complicated relationship, but mine was just taken to another level. We were just such jerks to each other. We were always saying nasty things. We would go back and forth about how fat we were. It was like stupid girl things. But then it was taken to crazier levels. Like, I mean, I never, I would get in my mom's face. I would never go farther than that. But I've said some really messed up things to my mom that I really regret, and I wish I could take them back. But that was the relationship. And my mom was super protective of me. I don't know if it was because I was the firstborn daughter, but she was never like that to my sisters. But for some reason to me, it was just like I was never allowed to do anything. I couldn't go out. I never partied. I didn't even go to friends' houses really, unless she approved of my friends. And it was really hard because she was super, super controlling. And that was a reason for a lot of our fights and a lot of bad things said. And so not just that, in high school, like I went through a lot of friends. It's just stupid fights, things like that, stupid girl fights stuff. Like that's why I just hated having girlfriends. But I can like never really find my place in high school, because like I said, it's always so cliquey. And when I lost some friends, I almost felt like a loner, I guess. And I was really depressed about that. Like I didn't have a really good friend anymore, especially senior year. And like senior year, you're supposed to be having the time of your life. Like I didn't go to parties. I didn't go to like any senior events. I think I like went to like one or two, and I like latched on to like all the wrong people, and it was just, it was a shit show for sure. But other than that, like I just had all these dark feelings. I was super sad all the time. I had no confidence whatsoever. Like I even had like guys I would date, and I had one like tell me that I was fat basically and needed to go running. And I think like things like that, like as a teenager, like you really latch onto, like you hear that and it goes into your, bank storage up there. And I took that and ran with it. And so I wasn't good enough for anybody in my mind. So my self-esteem, I had none. Like it was really, really bad. And I still don't have a lot of self-esteem. That's one of my biggest problems with my husband and my relationship is because he knows that. He knows that I am so hard on myself. He knows I have no confidence, no self-esteem. And it hurts him to see that, to see me be really, really hard on myself. And it's something I'm working on. But the whole high school experience just really traumatized me. And like I said, I saw things happened to me that I'm not going to go talk about on social media right now. But they were just bad things. Let's just say that, like really bad things. I mean, obviously bad enough to like traumatize me, I guess. But I would also just do stupid things to myself, stupid things to my body. I hated my body. I always thought I was just fat. I thought I was ugly. I thought didn't look like any of those like cute girls, I didn't know how to do makeup, didn't know how to do hair. I still don't. But I don't care anymore, But back then, that's like all it was, like high school was just like how good you looked and like your personality and like how popular you were. And I hated that. I hated it to the point where I tried to commit suicide. It was a failed attempt. Obviously, I'm still here. I'm thankful it was a failed attempt. I had taken a bottle of pills from my mom's medicine cabinet. I have no idea, like, what I was doing. It was so stupid. I would literally, like, the memories are just so clear. I would sit in my closet and cry and listen to, like, the saddest songs, like, listen to Eminem and stuff. And, like, I would just do the stupidest things to my body. Like, I would, like, cut myself, but, like, not to the point where I would bleed a lot because I was scared that my parents were going to find out. So I would like cut myself like on the sides of my wrist, but like light enough to where like no one really could see, but to the point where I can like still feel something. And it was like, it was so stupid. Like I just was like, oh yeah, pain. Like let's just do that, it was dumb. And like the whole trying to kill myself with like a bottle of pills, like I could have had to go to the hospital. I could have gotten my stomach pumped. But, thankfully it didn't turn out like that. So I'm really lucky in that sense that, I didn't have anything super major happen to me. It was like my hearing went away. And I probably caused a lot of damage to my liver. But to this day, I blame it, on my really bad hearing, which could have been, the thing. I have no idea. But those were like my teenage years. And then finally, when I graduated high school, I got rid of some toxic people. I got rid of a toxic ex-boyfriend and then fell into another relationship where my parents actually liked this guy. And then it was like a good year. It was like my family all of a sudden like, liked me or, I mean, like I think like that, but like I started having a good relationship with my parents. Things were like going good, which that sometimes happens. Like you can go through months or weeks without, having a like horrible depression spell, I guess you should say. And that's what happened to me. And then we broke up and then it was like everything spiraled again. And then I met somebody else. And I will admit that I latch onto people pretty hard. I've been in like a couple serious relationships like that lasted a really long time. Like I never took time to be like single and find myself for a while. And that was like a problem. Towards the end of that relationship, that bad one, and I started hating myself again. We broke up and then all of a sudden my mom and I had this great relationship. But I'm going to back up real quick because a couple months before that, my mom was diagnosed with cancer again for the second time. It came back in her liver, and the doctor basically said there was like no way she was going to be able to survive that. And that was really hard because I had seen her go through it when I was like 12. So I saw her beat cancer. So I, in my head, was like, there's no way she's going to die. Like, that's my mom, like she's going to live. I'm going to do a whole episode of that, of being a motherless daughter, of coping with it and what happened with that, because that is a huge thing in my life. But I watched her go downhill so fast. She went in for an appointment. I think she like found out in June, and then lived a couple months and passed away in April. And I saw her basically turn into a skeleton. I saw her turn yellow. Her eyes turned yellow. I saw her die in front of me. And literally, I saw her die in front of me. I saw her, she actually passed away in our house. That was really hard. Like, watching a person die is one of the most traumatizing things you should ever go, or you would ever go through. I was only 21, but not just that, like, because we had such a bad relationship before, I remember going to the hospital with my aunt, my Nana, which is my mom's mom, and my mom. And this was one of the appointments when they told my mom, like, you only got so long to live. And my Nana just broke down crying and turns to me and says, "This is all your fault." And like, she's bawling. Like, I've never seen a grown woman like that cry. And she's blaming me for my mom's cancer. And that was so traumatizing. And I know it's not true. I know she didn't think it, but in my mind, I was just like, fuck, did I do this? Is this my fault? Like, I had so much guilt, you guys, like, you have no idea. And that really, really caused a lot of problems in my life. I still have to live with that every day. I still go through that. But like I said, I'm going to talk about that later. But that is what led me to my PTSD, which I had no idea you can have PTSD from losing a loved one or that kind of loss. I always thought it was more like something to do with like the military or something. I didn't know really what PTSD really was until I was diagnosed with it. So that is a problem that I have to currently go through. But I honestly think depression is genetic, which I actually have had my therapist tell me it is genetic, and I think it's also learned. So my Nana was very depressed, like severe depression. She was actually hospitalized for it. I was really young, so I don't really remember, but I don't know what they did to her, like shock therapy or something. Unfortunately, I don't have her here to ask, but apparently it was very, very hard for her, but she always had depression even after that. And then also my mother had postpartum depression, and I had no idea about this until my dad told me. When I told him that I had postpartum depression, he finally told me, well, she had it with all three of you girls, and we're all a year and a half apart. I can't imagine being a year and a half apart or having children like that and, having really bad postpartum depression and not getting help. But basically, that's how my mom was, and I had no idea. So when I was a kid, I saw her always in bed. She was always sleeping till, 2, 3, p.m. And I just was always like, wow, this woman is lazy. But it's not laziness. It was depression. And I didn't learn that until I was adult and until I had it and just, didn't want to move and would just want to stay in bed. And I always felt like, well, my dreams are better than real life, which is really sad. But sometimes they are. I'm not gonna lie. So that was really, really tough, but it's like my Nana went through it, my mom went through it, I'm going through it, but I'm going to say I am breaking that mold. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live with severe depression and anxiety and PTSD. Because I saw my grandmother and my mom go through it, I just don't want to be that person. I basically have been trying to find a way to kind of self-heal myself. So I've been like self-soothing myself. So I found being outside really works for me, and talking to people. I did have a therapist for a little bit after I found out I had postpartum, which it's like, I honestly wish that I got the help I could have had when I was a teenager. I wish that I could have talked to people instead. Like they say, there's no face to depression. I can seem like the bubbliest, happiest, go lucky person, but inside I'm literally dying. I'm literally screaming for help. Not as much anymore. And I will tell people when I feel like that, because now I'm a changed person. But back then it's like, it was just it was hard to live. Let's just say that. I didn't feel like I was worthy. I didn't feel like I was going to be loved. And mental health is just so important. And I realize that now. It has took me so long since, since high school, since I was like 15 years old, 16 years old, like to realize that I need to take care of what's up here, to be happy and to love myself, because no one's going to love you if you don't love yourself. People say that, but it's true. And not everything that I do is going to work for you. Every body is different. Everybody is different. So like I said, help soothe myself. And I basically talk myself down nowadays. I talk to people, I talk to family, I talk to loved ones, I talk to friends, and I just tell them how I feel. And it makes me feel a lot better just getting it off my chest, even if I just need to do that, even if I just need to do a stupid YouTube video to talk about it. I mean, I'm not saying this one's stupid. I think talking about depression and these kind of videos are super important, because there are people out there struggling every day with this illness, and they think they don't have anybody to talk to, but that's not true. You can talk about it. There's so many people who care out there. And nowadays they have, online groups, you can get into a chat group, or you can text a hotline number, you can call a hotline number. And it's like, there's help out there now. And depression, for me, it's going to last forever. It's going to be a part of me, unfortunately. I'm always going to go through it, but now I know how to cope with it, which is a big thing. And I'm now living for my son. I'm living the kind of life which I have my bad days. Everybody's going to have their bad days, but it's not as severe. It's not as bad as how it was back then. The trauma is still there. The memories are always going to be there, but I found what works best for me and how to cope. So all I can say, but like I said, just do what's best for you, and people love you, people care about you, and it's not the end of the world. You will get through it. I have faith in you, and if you ever need to talk, you can always message me. You can always leave a comment down below. Like, I'm available. I have been through this pretty badly. So just be safe. I know it's hard, but be happy, like look for the little things that you have. You have life, you're alive, you're breathing, and you have health, then there's so much to live for. But that's really all I can say about that. I don't want to make this too long. I do want to do a part 2 about postpartum depression, so stay tuned for that. But other than that, I am going to go. So please share this with somebody that needs to see it. So, peace.